YouTube? Hope everybody's alright and you're all keeping well, and you all had a great weekend that's just passed. And yeah, it's time for the holdall. Like I said, I shall bring you along as much as possible. I'll tell you something, this leather is outstanding. It is absolutely beautiful. The back of it, look at that, that's without me burnish it. It's lovely and supple, ideal for a bag, top of the range bridle leather. So yeah, this will all be box stitched. I ifed and hard and I ummed and whatever you call it about which way to go about doing these corners, and I finally came round. It's a good strong stitch, a box stitch, so I'll box stitch it all round the edge, and pardon me, we'll go from there. I'll try and bring you along with the process to how I go about doing the handles for these, which will be something different. You know, there'll be a zip that'll have to be sewn in this, and you know, he sent me the lining material for this. To be honest, with how clean this leather is inside, I'm going to have a look at the lining material, but I might suggest to him that it might be better just to leave it as it is. I keep doing that thing. Sorry guys, it's when I'm thinking. See, I nearly went to do it again then. And see, and there's another one. It's going to blimey, drive me potty in the end, but never mind. Anyway, so this will be done in a few parts obviously, because this is a big old project. I have Mr. Thomas Font, little beauty here. And Thomas, good old Tom, that was my granddad's name. I always liked that name. This is the sort of thing I'm looking at, and what I've decided is I wanted to try and carry on with the theme of this. You know, with these shapes and stuff, and rather than do it a straight up and down or a pocket carry, what I'm thinking is a nice little cross draw, considering what type of knife it is. Obviously you try and make the sheath to accommodate what the knife's for really, and what it's going to be used for, and as it's a fighting type, defensive slash type knife, you know, a cross draw would be more fitting I think for this. So what I've done, this is just a rough bit of card and something I was playing around with when Sandy and John came, and obviously I had to put it to one side while I was spending the day with those guys. So, but it'll be something along these lines. I mean, it'll look different obviously with the leather, and I'm definitely going to go for black. It's got to have black with this beautiful polish and the black things. I'm not going to do this brown, it's got to be black, and I'm thinking white stitching. I don't know yet, or maybe a dark brown or a light brown, I don't know. I'll figure that out. Anyway, that's sort of the what we're looking at sort of thing. I think it's going to look brilliant, because you'll have stitching down here, down here, down here, up there and up there a little bit. And if you can picture that, and then what you'll have is cross draw straps, one there and you'll have one there, so when it's on the belt it'll be like that for deployment, and then you'll have to just switch it around a bit. There's nothing I can do about that, it's just the way that the knife's designed. You can't have it sticking out too much, because it's just going to look odd, so it's going to have to go into about there for deployment. You just pull it out a little bit and then just grab it, and then you're away then, you know what I mean? So yeah, let me know what you think. If you're happy with that, I'll carry on with that then some point this week, probably maybe the weekend. I'm itching to get onto them knives with the belts, but you know, all these things come first too. So, but you know, we'll work this out, and yeah, just let me know what you think, our kid, and great stuff. I'll carry on doing a little bit more with this, put a few more holes in, and then I'll switch you off, and like I say, this will have to be done in a few parts. I'll post this up, and then when I come to stitch the sides in and stuff, as it's a different stitch you probably haven't seen, I'll video again doing that. Okay guys, take care, bye for now, Lee. Right, there's some of this mess with it. Even though I'm going to need it. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to look away. I love my hands, but it hurts to crave. The life I have isn't what I'd seen. The sky's not blue and the field's not green. Wait for me. Wait for me. Wait for me. Try too hard and I always lag. Days are grey and the nights are black. Wait for me. Wait for me. Wait for me.
It's a special pen I use. It leaves like a silver, and it comes off. You know, it helps with marking of the leather. You know, with a pencil on this, it stay really. Whereas with this, I can lick my finger and it disappears. I can't even think what it's called now. I've had it a while, so. Okay. Oh yeah, bleeder. A wasp just trying to stick its arse in my neck. Excuse my language, sorry. It's not that I don't swear, but you know, I always think, you know, if there is a young one watching, or you know, it's not the best. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you to look away.
Right. So what we want now
I love my hands, but it hurts to pray. The life I have isn't what it seems.
sorry if I keep going out of shot.
The sky's not blue and the field's not green. Wait for me.
Okay, what we do now is we'll look in the inside, see roughly where a little mark, then I can take these apart, go from there, and hopefully they marry up into the middle, and they do. It's not always the case. It's nice when it falls that way, mind you. What I mean by that, I mean is when you run your stitch line down in each hole and the end hole ends up right smack in the middle. Sometimes it's off a little bit and you have to make that stitch just a little bit longer than what's needed. It's not a big thing, but you know, it all adds to the aesthetics, getting stuff right, like, excuse me, like that. Right. So, what I need to do now is
I'm gonna ask you to look away. A broken light will never
oh, I should have done this first. So before you skive stuff, obviously it's getting thinner. You are better to do that. I mean, I've got away with it, but it's better to do that before you skive anything down, because obviously the thinner the leather is, the thinner leather it is, the harder it is for your tool to get to the, you know, to the edge. You could go to a number 1 and probably get there, but I don't want to use a number 1, I want a number 2 for this. I've got away with it, but sometimes you can't always do that. Okay, do the inside. Okay, happy. What we'll do now is we'll get the edge dot. Try and flip it back out a bit. Edge dot. Now you normally use a real, God, I don't know if you can hear that wasp, but he's a monster. I normally use a real dark brown edge dye, but if you've done any leather work, you'll notice that if you burnish properly and burnish enough, it near enough ends up black anyway. And with this one particular leather, that's the case when I burnished, because I tested a little bit way before I started doing any of this just to see. So rather than do the dark brown and end up with the edges black anyway, I've gone straight for the black on this particular project. On some of the other ones, like if I do the edge dark brown with the saddle tan, say, you can see the dark brown edges then more. It does depend really, I suppose, on what leather you're using. Okay, that's some of the edges, and it's a nice look as well with this walnutty and this dark on the edges. Really pretty. Okay, so that's where we're at with this other side strap for his carry handles for the long strap. What we need to do now is we'll need to contact adhesive them on, and we'll end up with, you know, number 2 for the other side. Just keep that clamp on there. I'll try and keep these clamps on as long as possible, really, if it's not marking the leather. Some veg tan, especially the thinner stuff, depending on what clamp you use, so I've got a lot of different types with a lot of different strengths. If you leave it on too long, it will mark it. I mean, to some people it doesn't bother them, but it does me. I'll try and leave less marks and as less blemishes and as less mistakes as possible on me work. So, you know, I want it as perfect as I can get it, really. So the customer's super happy, and then I'm even more happy. Right, okay, I'm just going to glue this up and I'll bring the process about keying the leather, especially with this, because this is already pre-dyed. It's not so bad with the veg tan. On the flesh side, you can, you know, it absorbs it quite well, the contact adhesive, but something like this, you know, and this is really water resistant as well. They give a good oil into this. It's real good quality, this. I'm just going to take that, what you use for this is a scratch tool. You can buy a tool that roughens up the leather. You can use something that you use on your dog. They come, that'll do the job, but I'll find a scratch tool for this type of stuff. As long as I'm not doing real big areas, is more than adequate. It is important to do this. You can use a bit of sandpaper as well and do that. When you're skiving as well, guys, you want to, you know, try and skive and keep this as neat and straight as possible. You know, don't start up here and skive a chunk out and a chunk out, you know. So, you know, just try and keep everything as neat as you can, really. You know, as you can. When you're working through your projects, try and keep everything, you know, try your hardest with all the little bits, and try and keep everything as neat as you can. Will make a difference. It will definitely make your customer happier, and it'll definitely make you happier, you know, if you keep everything like that. Right, that's just got to have the contact adhesive, the solid brass ring putting in, good solid heavy weight. You know, this bag will last them a lifetime. You know, I'd quite happily put a 10-15 year guarantee on this bag when I finished it, with no qualms at all. You know, under normal usage. And I can only say that because of the leather that I chose for this, the thread that I use for this, the type of stitch that I'll be using for this, the hardware I'll be using for this, you know, all these weigh into giving you your guarantee for how long these things will last. Okay. I was going to go with the white stitching on this, and I sat down and had a good think, and it's a bag. This particular customer works away a lot on ships, you know, so it'll be through airports, it'll be lugged around, it'll be mixed up with other stuff, and you know, that white stitching is just going to get filthy eventually. So I went with the black stitching. I used to know about the Havana, but then because the bag's kind of that colour, there would be no contrast really. So that's my thought process of going with the black stitching rather than the white. The white would have stood out more and it'll look more pretty. But in time, when it got dirty, with what he's using this bag for, what he'll be using the bag for, then you know, the watch this is going to get dirty a lot quicker than most other things. But That's the only reason why that's the reason why I chose the black stitching. I just thought I'd share the thought process of how I choose stitching, why I've chose it. You know, some items I'll choose the white stitching, you know, because it's beautiful, and if stitched properly with a good saddle stitch, it really does look, you know, well, all a proper stitch, a good stitch, no matter what you use, looks lovely. But the white does tend to stand out nice. I particularly like the blue stitching too. I really do love blue and black. I think it's a great combination with leather, to be honest. But other than that, that's my thought process behind this. This is coming together now, slowly but surely. It'll be a long project, this one. You know, considering it's all done by hand and not by machine. You know, I could have gone down the route of machine and gone down the piping type of affair, but you know, when I sit down and I look at these things a lot, I mean, you know, we wanted a hand built bag. You don't get much hand built than sewing it all by hand and then box stitching it, I tell you. So, whoops, sorry guys. So that's what he wanted, and I suppose when it's all done, hopefully it pans out okay. There'll be a few hurdles left with this yet, I know. Especially when it comes to, because the way I've designed the bag, the zip at the top is off from the, you'll see eventually. So I'm winging it really here. I'm thinking the process through and using what I've done with a lot of other stuff, and you know, as in which way to go about stuff first. But the zip thing, it's up in the air, if I'm being deadly truthful with you, and I'm winging it as I'm going along. It normally tends to pan out right. You know, these type of projects I wouldn't, you know, it's definitely not a beginner's project, or I'd say an intermediate really. You know, if you're thinking of taking on something like this is more for somebody who's been, oh you bleeder, doing leather work for quite a while really. Not so much with the stitching. Oh, these are tight. Sort of thing. It's the planning and the designing of it. More than, that's where the experience comes in with these type of things. I think I'm going to go back over those with the pricking iron as they're playing up a little bit. So if I try and loosen them holes up a little tad, okay, they just close up. See, that's the good thing with using a pricking iron rather than a drill. Your holes will close up lovely too after, really suck up to that stitch. And you're not left with any of those big gaps there, or it's more secure stitch. Okay, let's put this back in and we'll see how that is. Ooh. I'm tired today. Oops. Okay, let's try again. Come on, focus. Whew. It's a little bit better, but not a great deal. These are really closing up quite quick, to be honest, a lot quicker than normal. Either way, I'll get there. Okay guys, I've got to do the other side yet. Do the same to the other side. I won't bring you along for that because it's only mirroring what I'm doing here. So, and then it's the big straps on the big compartment, big part of the bag, and then I've got to look at designing and sorting out. I've got it roughly in my head how I want the zip to sit and look. Whether it's going to work out are two different things. I'll get there. Okay. Sorry about that guys, you can hear my little 2-year-old in the background playing with his brother because all the kids are off school. It's not a second I dislike hearing, to be honest, my kids playing, but
what you doing, douche?
Kian. That's brothers being brothers. Bless them. Whoops. Sorry guys. I'm just using my awl. Right size for the job. I've gone through these already, but the pricking iron won't go through this many layers. So I just thought I'd share this, how I do this process, if people were a bit puzzled. I could have gone through each layer, this, that, the next one and the next one, but if you've got a steady hand and you get used to working with the awl, you know, as you can see, you can get it, you know, pretty much, and then you can still keep your holes. So what I'll do now is I'll take my always do that, and I'll just draw this groove in freehand. Kian, please son. There we go. Takes a bit of practice to learn how to use this tool and do it freehand, but whoops, it is doable. There we go, you see. So that's the way of putting grooves in with funny shapes, you know, rather than, you know, if you can't go round the shape with the stitch groove, that's the way of doing it. Okay, I'll sew this up and I'll bring it back. Update on the corners, the ends. Okay, that's what it'll be like on the end for this big carry strap.